the marriage moving in the wrong direction. I have been married for about 20 years and have 3 kids under 10. Well, rocky at times. I really knew she just didn't love me anymore. A few months back, I confronted her on the issue, and she admitted that she had fallen out of love with me. After a long talk, we decided to try to start fresh, and things were going really well. Then she went away for a weekend to visit some friends, and when she came back, she said she wanted out of her life. Not just me, but the job, kids, everything. She said it wasn't the life she wanted. I had heard this in varying degrees, but never to this extreme. Plus, she became very secretive with her phone and internet use, and for the first time. I really wondered if she was cheating on me. Still don't really believe she is, but the little nag won't go away. Fix anyway. I decided to keep pushing the issue, telling her I need the truth about how she feels about us and our future. After a few weeks of this, she admits she wants a separation. She wants to see what else is out there. I got the truth, but now I'm barely functional. How do I pick myself and move on from here? Do I give her a free and clear separation to play the field while I raise our children alone? What if she decides she wants to come back? Can things ever be the same? Does this sound familiar to anyone? Please, if you have had this happen, tell me how you coped. Mince, I kind of did the same thing. For several years, I had the feeling my wife didn't love me. So, I started reading many marriage books to improve my part, got in the best shape of my life, did all I could do to help around the house, and nothing changed on her part. Nothing increased her desire for me. The difference is my wife doesn't want out of the marriage. She wants companionship and an intact home. Like you. I forced the truth out of her. I got my answer, and it hurt like hell for a while. I'm better now, and for me. I found my inner strength and peace. I am developing friends after 20 years. Find your inner strength, exercise, get in shape if you're not. Find other interests and become a better you. You will get through this. Response. Good advice. I did get in shape. Lost 40 pounds and 6 inches off my waist to a 34. I did everything I could to be the best dad I know how. It all did bring me peace for a time. But the status quo began to eat at me to the point that it was dragging me down again. So I decided to push back for the first time, and this is where it got me. Not sure I am better off, though. I was likely only delaying the inevitable anyway. Friends I have, but I don't think I'll ever love another, not sure I'll ever want to. It sucks to see other guys in a similar situation. Hope it works out for you too. Peace through strength, brother. Reached a week later, and after dealing with inconsistencies and what I thought were lies, I went about to find what I guess I didn't really want to find, which was another man. I put 2 and 2 together with irrevocable proof and confronted her. I had to lay out the proof as she first denied it. Then admitted to a Facebook, text, and phone relationship with an old boyfriend, a very serious one. At first, she said it was just old memory sharing, and that she had broken it off, then admitted it was more and said he had broken it off, and that she was sad about that. I was expectedly furious and threatened divorce, which she promptly threw back in my face as I am currently unemployed, and have no means to support my kids. However, since then I have felt only pain and loss. She admits it was a mistake, but when I asked her if she felt guilty, she did not answer. She insists that it is over, and that if I had never found out, it would have been for the best. When she was just talking about separation, I felt like it was something I could handle. No, instead of wanting a separation, I want even more to try to work things out. But she isn't sure if she wants to work things out. I feel like a loser, and I'm not really looking for sympathy, but does anyone understand feeling this way? Is it real, or just some kind of jerk reaction? I've made an appointment with a therapist. I can't be confident it wasn't physical, as she had the opportunity despite the fact that he lives in a different city. Business trip to where he lives. And I do still love her, and I still want to be with her, more now than before when she was talking about separation. And I don't know why I feel this way. And I don't want my kids to grow up without their mother in the house. I grew up in a divorced family, and it messed us all up pretty bad. I don't worry about my self-respect. I am a pretty confident guy, secure in my own skin. I quit my job 3 years ago to be a stay-at-home dad. I don't think I would feel much different if I was financially secure, but I do plan to work on that with the counselor. Thanks, waiter. I just wanted to say thanks for all the great advice and perspective. I think it's unfortunate I quit a multiple 6-figure job. I hated because my kids were small and my wife had more job security and satisfaction. I will never agree that it was a mistake because I would never trade those years for anything. It's not like my marriage was happy before, So I am thinking this was inevitable no matter what. I began the process of starting my own business before this all came down, and after reading about Mr. Nice Guy and the 180 ED, I have set both the business and the detachment in motion. I understand I am Plan B, and that is what is fueling me right now. Divorce is a big step, but I do plan to discuss it with my IC when I have my appointment and know a couple of divorced guys here, one with custody, that I am planning to contact for attorney recommendations. I have to admit that when I started this post, I was heartbroken and desperate for reconciliation. You have all given me the strength to move on with just me and my kids. I comment. You're not a loser. You are just down on your luck, and it has been made worse by your unfaithful wife. I can honestly suggest not to be too reliant or needy when wanting to reconcile. Nothing turns a woman off more than a man with no backbone. Instead, do a complete 180 on her and offer her consequences for her actions. Regardless of your jobless situation, visit a divorce lawyer. Find out some facts on how a divorce will shake out for you. You never know if your wife works and you don't. You might be entitled to spousal support, unless you offer up consequences for her actions instead of rug sweeping this mess. You will not see any progress with her. If you want any chance of any meaningful reconciliation with your wife, you must first be deadly serious to blow up the marriage due to your wife's actions. Only then might your wife realize realities and where this is heading. Story 2. Wife and I married 13 and together 19. 2 kids. Guess we have had underlying issues over the years and not the best communication. Communication between us has been more problematic in the last 2 years. I suspect she is going through a semi-midlife crisis and has been following the typical routine of getting in shape, spending a lot of time with her girlfriends, and buying new clothes. In short, she has distanced herself from me and the kids, not spending as much time with them. But conversely, I have been spending most of my free time with the kids, partly because we were not giving each other proper attention. There has been a change in her where she seems to seek attention, including from other men. She looks great and has been getting a lot of attention, but I feel she's been flirting excessively. While some flirting is fine, as I am a flirt too, there's a line, and this has been a topic of discussion over the last year. This has become a vicious cycle. The more she acts this way, the less attention I give her, and the less attention I give her, the more she continues to act this way. This has led me to be suspicious and concerned about an affair, and I have had 1 or 2 people in mind as possible candidates. Recently, we both realized that we were messing things up and knew we had a lot to lose, so we wanted to fix it. I had long resisted counseling, but now we've agreed to go. Then the bombshell hit. A friend of mine informed me that there was a strong rumor running all over my hometown that she was having an affair with one of the guys I had a feeling about. I confronted her about this a month ago, and it has been tense since. She adamantly denies it, and even denies having any kind of feelings towards him except friendship. In my inquiries, there is no actual proof. It's just a feeling people have when they see them interacting at work. My wife is a personal trainer and started a year ago at the local gym, and so is he. I never thought anything of it in the many years we have gone to this gym, and I know the guy fairly well. Suspicions started in the last couple of months when I was not liking how she was acting. She tells me there is nothing there at all and wants us to go to counseling to fix our problems. But she is also happy being this new confident person and does not want to change. She is oblivious to my complaints that her new self might be great, but the flirting and attention-seeking are over the line and are hurting us big time. Even if it was not an affair, this has caused a lot of people to think that there was one because of the way she flirts and acts. But she does not see that. And if that's what they think, it's crazy, and there is nothing she can do to stop people from thinking what they want. I fear I will never know the real truth, and this uncertainty will ultimately ruin the relationship, even if we stay together. I think I will always wonder, as I'm not sure she would ever admit the truth, because she knows that would be the end. At the very least, I believe that there were feelings growing, but again, she adamantly denies this. So if I believe that something was happening, or at least brewing, and she will always say it was nothing, I don't see how we can ever be good again, as there will always be this underlying trust issue. Therefore, I don't see how counseling now would ever change that. If she had at least acknowledged that maybe her flirting did cause this, and that maybe she has to pull back a little, at least I would see a hint that she gets it, but I don't even have that. I apologize for the lengthy post, but I'm on an emotional roller coaster and feel stuck. I told her that if it were reversed, I'm not sure what the words would be, but I would be damn sure that I would say the words and do the things that would 100 convince her that I did not cheat, if in fact it was true. Regardless of whether I was a subpar husband in all other respects, I would make sure she knew. I would make sure she knew I did not break the ultimate bond. She says that part of her wants to fight and show me I'm wrong, and another part fears she will never convince me and this will ruin us. I've told her that this is a threshold issue, and I would work on all the other stuff to fix us. But if I have this doubt, even a slight doubt, the other stuff does not matter and can't be fixed. If I'm being honest, if I had to place a bet, I don't think there was a physical affair. But I just feel something was up based on everything I have heard, seen, and felt. On what other people think. I agree, sure not to my ultimate decision, because if my trust in her was there, to hell with everyone else. But she somehow can't understand that what I see is also being seen by others. Even if no affair, she's acting super flirty out there and it's being picked up on. We have talked about separating, and it might be what we need to do, but I am so connected to my kids and them to me. Plus, I have no real support system here and have no place to go. I would have to ask her to move back in with her folks for a while. It would crush me if I don't get to tuck the kids in and do all the stuff we do all the time. Son is 9 and girl is 12. It's really hard to pull this trigger when I have no actual proof. Hell, I can even understand maybe starting to have feelings for another as if I spent every day with a girl who's paying attention to me and we had fun together in general. Based on us being at a low point in the marriage, maybe I would have developed this as well. And I told her this, and she still adamantly denies anything was there. Just that she has found confidence in life for the first time and does not want to let that go because she is happier. I told her, great, but if 10% of this knew you suck and are hurting the marriage, maybe you need to change that 10%. Insides are all twisted up. Polly has been on my mind for a bit now and me not only threaten it, but I may also ask that she goes through with it. I have done my investigation here as best as possible regarding where rumors came from. People tend to shut down a little when you ask them about what they specifically know. People don't mind talking about it amongst themselves but are nervous about getting involved when specifics are asked for. I have been back and forth on the MC thing. I sort of feel that she owes me the truth without the need of making her come clean at therapy. I guess I don't see how it will help, and I am concerned she will simply decide, okay, I will just admit something, but not the whole truth. But I guess I have nothing to lose by going, and maybe I can determine if I believe her after all is said and done. We will have another long talk this weekend, and I will put all options on the table. Divorce, separate counseling, etc. And we'll see what we agree on. We need to have a plan where we are headed and put it into action, because I can't handle how it is now. We will be having our talk tonight. It will either be counseling or separate from my standpoint. It will depend on our convo. She, I know, would like to go to counseling. I am considering asking her to take a polygraph test and that I would go to counseling, like she wants if she agrees to do the polygraph to determine if there was some kind of affair going on. I try to think of how I would react if I had truly been faithful. Hard to know for sure, but based on all, I think I would agree so she would know it's untrue. Of course, if I did something, no way would I agree and would do the much to lose. Already spoke out, threatened, and of course he denies. I know it might be easy for me to say since I'm not in the position, but if I were in his position, I would go out of my way to make him understand that it was all crap and rumor, etc. But he has stayed clear of me. I will definitely be doing the VR and probably the GPS as well. It will be really bad if I find out it took place, but at least I will know, and I will have clarity as to what the result will be. Divorce? She knows this, so clearly there is reason to deny. But therein lies the torture. Is she denying because it did not happen or denying for self-preservation? Argument is equally strong on both sides. But man, it's the not knowing that is killer. So hard to justify me not being with my kids every day, crazy close to my 12-year-old girl and 9-year-old son, without knowing for sure. Salute torment. Big talk coming tonight, and we'll see if it produces anything positive. Just as an update, had a long talk, discussed separation, but neither of us wants to be the one to leave the house or the kids, so unless I move out, that's not happening right now. She wants to do counseling and asks me if I am prepared to walk away from all this without trying everything that can be done. She continues to completely deny there was any kind of relationship at all, just good friend and one of her bosses. They worked together for the last year as personal trainers. He has been her trainer as well for many years, and we both have been going to this gym for the last 6 years. It's a family-type community gym, as opposed to a typical Gold's, etc. It sucks because it's in my hometown, very popular here and sort of a cheers place where everybody knows your name. And now I don't go there anymore, obviously. She also does not see how she caused this rumor to exist at all. People start rumors at the gym all the time, etc. I mentioned that I had actually considered asking her to take a lie detector, said this just to gauge the response. Sounds like she would agree to do it, but I have not yet asked her flat out to do it. But I will. She asked me what it would take for me to believe her. Also said to me, okay, so if I pass this test, you will be satisfied. I'm going to tell her that I need to have something more than just her words, because I just don't feel it totally from her words, and even a guilty person will deny to the last minute without actual proof. Plus, even admitting an emotional affair would require her to leave that gym if she wanted to stay together, which will really impact her as she loves working there, and I must admit is getting personal fulfillment which she has never had before in the workforce. I will agree to counseling. If she refuses, I will probably start the process of preparing to separate. If she fails, then it's over for me for sure. One other thing. I told her that based on where we were, I understand that someone could start to feel things for another person, maybe because we were just so apart lately and neither of us giving the right attention. I could tell she was very concerned here, and she thought I was telling her I had developed feelings for another. I have considered telling her I did, in fact start to develop feelings for another woman, virtually a lie, to see if this would allow her to admit she had the same thing happening. Besides a poly test asking whether there was a physical affair, will it also test for whether there was any relationship above and beyond a friendship? I guess an emotional affair or a budding relationship. Because if I had to guess if anything was there, it was that my best guess right now is that there was no physical affair. I've gone back and forth on the poly as there is no hard evidence. But what there is, a suspicion by me that something was up with this guy. Turns out that other people had gone up to the other gym bosses and said, I would keep an eye on these two, and someone telling them their rumor all over town as these two are having an affair. So, I don't know if my suspicion is correct, or I was getting a weird vibe as each time I walked into the gym, the Ohm was wondering if I was about to come after him. This plus her little midlife crisis has truly put I really don't know for sure thought implanted in my mind, and I need some extra proof to support her story. The poly if she passes, and I would absolutely do it for her in reverse, will give me a reason to hang on. She asked me what she needed to do to make me understand it did not happen. Not I am telling her what it would take. Extreme measures for extreme times. Trust me, it hurts me to even have to be at a point where I'm even asking her to do this. Have debated it for a couple weeks. I've considered that what she says in counseling may also be a continuation of denying. I would assume that's very common. That's why I think the poly will not only let me breathe and trust that it did not happen, but will also allow me to go into counseling with trust that she is being honest there as far as hanging out with the guy. She works with him every day still. He's still her personal trainer, and she takes an exercise class by him at work as well. There's no contact outside of work, as far as I can tell, and this is another reason I continue to doubt some. I've explained to her that even if the rumor is just a rumor, how does she continue to have the extra contact like the class, etc.? The explanation is I did not do those. So I see no issue, etc. I see that as a problem even if there was nothing. Along with the poly, that will be part of the conditions, set if she wants me to go to counseling to fix us. I will be calling on the poly today. Found a non-pi and seemingly trustworthy guy to do this. So, I decided to go see her father. He is a father to me as well. Lost mine a couple years back, and my father-in-law and I have been super tight forever. Truly one of my best friends these last 10 years. Plus, his first wife, my wife's mother, cheated on him, and that's a major reason he kicked her out. Told him I know he could not accept the cheating and needed to split up. And I am the same way. Asked him to tell me what I needed to hear so that if I walk away from my kids, I know it was not for nothing. I know it's his daughter, and when it comes down to it, he has to back her. But could absolutely tell from speaking with him that he grilled her up and down on this, and he is 100% convinced that there was nothing extra going on at all, including any etc. He is easy to read when he is not telling the truth. Fix the wife would have spoken with the conviction he had on the subject. Still going to bring up the poly, and if passes, I will go to counseling and see if it helps us or not. If I'm going to ask her to take it, then I have to trust the result and will let go of any thought that she cheated the test. Otherwise, why even ask her to take it? Every turn, it's something else that just makes it more confusing. It's more confusing one way or another. I know she will be resentful about the polygraph, but she needs to understand how severely she has shaken my trust, and she needs to do something severe to regain it. I will ask her to take the polygraph and stop any extra contact with the other man, exercise classes, and training. I will not ask her to quit, as if she passes the polygraph, it would be unfair for me to have her quit the job she loves and gets a lot out of if there was no affair. If she fails, she will need the job to help support herself, as that will be the end. Tomorrow is the day we talk about all this. Just finished a long talk. Talked about how I feel and that I can't seem to reconcile everything. Long story short, although I wish that her denial was all I needed to believe her and dismiss the rest. I needed something else, something more to help me truly believe. And only then came up with, after long consideration, was the polygraph. She'd been thinking about it since I brought it up a week ago and brought it up to her therapist during the week. He told her he thought it was an awful idea and assumed he told her about reliability problems, inconclusiveness, etc. She also mentioned the effect it will have on the marriage after she passes and that she could not even imagine having to be hooked up to something and ask these crazy questions, etc. I told her it took a lot of time and thought to even consider asking her to do this, as it hurts me more than she would know that we were at this spot. It was a calm and emotional conversation. She said, "Come to counseling with me, and after we spend some time there. If you still want me to, and the counselor thinks it's an okay idea, then I will go." Obviously, the counselor told her to say this, as no counselor in the world would ever suggest taking a polygraph. I told her I need exactly the opposite. Do the polygraph, and I will go to counseling. Talked about that the way it is. I can't continue on without being firmer in my belief in her, and could not come up with anything that would help me here aside from this extreme measure. I told her to give me another option, and I would do it in a heartbeat. Counseling is her constant response. Counseling would still have her deny, and I would never know if it's truth or the continuation of the denial. In the end, she said that although she wishes she could do this for me and show me that she is telling the truth, she just can't and sees it as something that would always be with her, and she would never be able to forget that she had to go through with it. We talked about seeing a divorce counselor, and she can't believe that we will end up splitting because of this try. We hugged a couple of times within the next hour or so, both cried, told each other we loved the other very much, and that we were both sorry for getting us to such a bad spot. I know the polygraph would give me an answer, but I had been thinking this long before we spoke about it, and during the convo. Namely, what kind of marriage do you have if this is what you need to do for it to continue? It's supposed to be hallowed ground and above all this. I think I would take a polygraph if the situation was reversed, but as the words came out of my mouth, all I could think was this is my wife and what the hell am I doing? I either put trust in her words and eyes, or I don't. If I don't, then I walk, and if I do, I hit counseling head on. The hardest thing to do here is trust her denial, although life on the line. I would say she did not cheat. I am hoping she will tell me in the next couple of days or so that she has decided against her better judgment. Just against her better judgment to save our marriage by taking this poly, so I can turn around and tell her I don't want her to, and that I will make the decision on my own. Based on what I've told her, I don't think she thinks that I would let her off the hook if she agreed to it. Man. I wish there was a handbook for this crazy ride. The Mixie, I owe it to my kids to do it all first, and even to the marriage to see if it's supposed to be saved or it's time to fly. And yes, I don't think there was a physical affair. And if I told her to stop the extra contact, as again, I am not asking her to quit the job, and we go to counseling. I am 100% sure she would do it. Her response to why she takes the classes is 1. I did nothing wrong. And this is insane, and 2. That I may have been going out lately here and there with the boys to all hours of the morning without my wedding ring, which out of protest I stopped wearing in late summer last year. So why should she stop her regular life, etc.? I go out lately basically because I am pissed about all this. We know. I think that she and I are both really good people to everyone else, and we would not both act the same way to the next man, woman we each end up with, because the baggage would not be there. I'm going to start to look into divorce counselors and our finances so she understands how close we are here, and will give her a few days to see if she brings up the poly again. If nothing, marriage counseling will be the deal, and let's see what it brings. Hopefully peace at worst, regardless of what the ultimate decision is. Like my comment. Have you guys been to marriage counseling? Sub and Bell, comment down below your experience and I will see you in the next story.